right.
The next item is number 12, an application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan, docket number 15-6310, block 1387, lot 45, 48 East 73rd Street in the Upper East Side Historic District. A row house built in 1885 to 86, altered in the neo-federal style by S. Edson Gage in 1916 and again in 1979. The application is to modify the dormer, reconstruct the rooftop addition, demolish rear facade and extension, construct a new rear facade, and create a light well, and excavate the cellar and rear yard. This was heard at the public hearing of September 23rd, 2014.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Caroline Passion, Preservation Staff. This application was last presented at the September 23rd public hearing. This proposal had several components, which included modifying a dormer and removing existing rooftop additions, constructing a new rooftop addition featuring a glazed window and door system, installing a stair bulkhead, demolishing the rear additions and rear facade, constructing a new rear facade that featured a glass curtain wall with operable shutters, creating a light well, and excavating the cellar and rear yard. So at that time, some of the commissioners had concerns about the visibility of the stair bulkhead, seen here, and requested that the visibility be eliminated or restudied to have its visibility reduced. So today, the applicant has returned and in response to your comments has revised the bulkhead so that there will no longer be any visibility over the primary facade. The height of the bulkhead has been reduced by 1 foot from 69 feet 3 inches to 68 feet and 3 inches. It's also been set back 1 foot from its original footprint. And the louvered ventilators that were on the roof, seen here at the proposed bulkhead, have also been eliminated as well. So staff conducted a site visit of the revised mock-up and confirms that there is no visibility of the bulkhead over the primary facade. So that's what you saw originally here with the louvered vents. And this is what you would see, you really wouldn't see it at all anymore. So here are another views. Now you can see it's set back behind that, so now you would never see that. Here's a photo of the revised mock-up. So it was set back a foot and lowered as well. And then across from Park Avenue on the east side of the avenue, you could see I don't even know if you guys can see it, but a really tiny sliver of it. And then here you see it in accent. So again, the bulkhead has been lowered a foot, set back a foot, and the louvered vents eliminated.
All right. I think they responded to our concerns. Are there any questions?
So a foot was as much as it could be lowered.
The lower, well, what happened, I think our direction was we wanted that the second level to be completely not visible, and they did that in two ways. They set the whole thing back, and they also lowered the height of the bulkhead. So, Caroline, there's only one teeny weeny, is that area that it's visible was through those
really
trees?
It was such a tiny, you could barely see it through the trees, and it's not even clear if that's even the bulkhead. It could even be the actual addition itself. And even that wasn't that visible from across Park Avenue, like beneath the canopy that you really had to strain to see.
Okay, any concerns? All right, so in that case, we can, the hearing is closed, we could read this into the resolution. Michael, do you want to do that? Did I ask you to do it? I've lost track.
Yeah, I'm fine. All righty, so this is number 12, right? So 48 East 73rd Street, Upper East Side Historic District. The application is to modify the dormer, reconstruct the rooftop addition, demolish rear facade and extension, construct a new rear facade, create a light well, and excavate the cellar and rear yard. I recommend approval, finding that the removal of the 1979 glass dormer and other rooftop accretions will eliminate features that presently detract from the special architectural historic character of the building. That the historic integrity of the facade of the building was diminished with the construction of a rooftop addition in 1979, and a proposal to replace this addition with a new addition that relates better to the facade would enhance the architectural character of the building and streetscape. that the recreation of the original rooftop balustrade will restore this historic feature that terminated the facade, that the rooftop bulkhead will now be visible over the primary facade and will be barely visible from Park Avenue, that the building has a history of alterations with extensive rooftop and rear accretions, and the reconfiguring of the rear of the building and extent of the proposed additions and light well will be consistent with the developmental history of the building, that the proposed work at the rear yard and secondary rear facade and side facade will not be visible from a public thoroughfare, that there are existing rear yard incursions and additions, and altered rear facades at houses within the row, as well as at other buildings within the block, and therefore the new rear facade will not diminish the building's relationship to the rest of the row or diminish a cohesive green space at the center of the block. That although the proposed work at the rear will eliminate some corbelled brick, the proposed work at the rear will not eliminate any other significant architectural features and will have a level of articulation that provides scale to this facade. That the use of operable shutters on a glass curtain wall at the proposed rear facade will convey a sense of scale and articulation that will provide an interesting counterpoint to the masonry facades of the other buildings in the row. That this row features a variety of grades at the rear yards, and therefore the proposed excavation and construction of a 15 to 16-foot masonry walls around the perimeter will not significantly diminish the relationship of this yard to the neighboring yards within the green space at the center of the block, and that the proposed excavation at the basement and rear yard will be designed and built in compliance with Department of Buildings regulations under supervision of a licensed professional engineer to protect the building and the adjacent buildings.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed? This application's been